So pro wrestling is I believe, is a two-folded type of situation. You're either in it 100% or you're in it because you love it. A good way to put it is like, I was always the guy that, hey, Jose, you have your gear? Well, hey, a guy canceled. Can you make it to this show? He had put me in the ring with an up-and-coming star in Devon Storm. I was doing the El Diablo gimmick where I was the only one in the area really doing a match. So I kind of stood out from a lot of people. I feel everybody in wrestling has that one guy or girl. Mine is Brickhouse. I think what I remember the most about it is the place was packed. I could hit him as hard as I want, and he'll hit me just as hard. Two guys that have been wrestling this long just want to have fun. I think it just became an easy fit. Because if you don't get them the second you walk out that curtain, your job is that much harder. Luis Ortiz was on their radar. If they were booking him, would I be interested in working him for the show? And I was like, no, absolutely not. Why would I do that?
Call it how I see it, straight talk, no disguise. So the slang dripping, got the truth in my eyes. Might like gavel, every word, lay it down. Coach C in the booth, turn the game all around. Yeah, it's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business. Yeah, I'm sharp as attack when I call the play-by-play. Every dog got his day, and I make the crowd stay. Cause every week we go live on a Wednesday. Dressing so sharp, that's the reason why your friends stay. The youngest in the game to do it, best for business. Coach C is the truth and everybody gonna witness. Love entertainment, you swear it's your destiny. Link with Coach C, we can talk about your legacy. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Best for Business. I'm Chris Sanders. I'm pumped for this one. Jose Perez, long time in the making. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, friend. Thank you.
It's kind of crazy because I remember the first time getting to meet you and then getting to see everything you've done in pro wrestling. You're an absolute legend. So the fact that all these years later, from the first time I got to meet you, got to do this, thank you for everything.
I know. Thanks for that, man. I am no legend. But let's get that out of the way real quick because I've been said that many times. I am no legend, trust me. I'm very happy with what I've accomplished in New England, but legend, no, not. There are plenty other people can be called that.
When we talk New England, no matter if you want to admit it or not, everyone always says Jose Perez is a legend. But I'm curious, when you talk pro wrestling, originally, what was it that ignited wrestling for you to do something you wanted to do?
Wrestling, man. Like most people that get involved in this, usually you hear the same thing. I was young and watched it when I was a kid, and it hooked. And I kind of grew out of it a little bit in the beginning, and then it caught me again, and got back into it. And a friend of mine was wrestling for Power League wrestling back in the day, and it was just some backyard type of thing. But he was doing it there, and I was like, oh, this sounds like fun. Let's I'm gonna throw some stuff around, and we went and horsed around inside of like, I don't know, it was like a 6x6 box or something like that on a Sunday afternoon in a church basement, But like I've always been, I wanted more. There was something about I wanted more, and I couldn't not want to get more. So the more I started doing it, the more wrestling I watched on TV. The more wrestling I watched on TV, the more I wanted to do it, and it was just a progressive snowball of that aspect of it.
So when you talk about your friend invited you, when this time, are you still away from wrestling originally, taking that break when your friend tells you to come to Power League?
No, I was never involved in wrestling at all. So for me, wrestling, I wrestled in high school, and when I was in middle school, I was excited that I was going to go wrestle in high school, and I thought wrestling in high school had a ring and ropes. I quickly found out that was not the case.
Yeah.
But being a competitive person, I gravitated to it. My first year as a freshman was god awful, because again, it wasn't what I expected. But I didn't take that as a defeat.
Yeah.
I left that season, got into the gym, started working out, picked up freestyle, jiu-jitsu, and taekwondo. Came back the following year, placed third in states, and then just kept going through high school until I didn't graduate, but until senior year. Mm-hmm. And just kept doing it that way. And at that point, the wrestling bug had already started, and it wasn't until I didn't start wrestling in Power League until I was 21, give or take, around around 93
Wow.
is when I kind of started in Power League in that general area.
What do you remember about when you first started with Power League?
Um, it was just a bunch of young guys just having fun. It was fun to me. I was like, this is great. We're filming it.
Yeah.
People are seeing. Our friends are seeing it. It was great. Like most people that started,
Mhm.
it was a different vibe. Tommy D was the guy that owned it, ran it, and there was a bunch of other guys that were there, and it was just fun to do. I went down there like on a Sunday afternoon, and we were there for 6-7 hours and just taped a bunch of outrageous stuff, and we just had fun with it. But
Was
again,
it
my competitive edge just wanted more. So
yeah, when you mentioned the competitive edge, I'm curious, was it easy making the transition into wrestling? Obviously, you talk about you thought the original high school wrestling was going to be what WWE and things were, but it completely wasn't. But doing karate and everything you did, was it easy to make the transition?
for me, I felt it was because I was able to use that as the fundamentals
Mhm.
of what I needed, as in conditioning and strength training and stuff like that. I was really kind of into the working out in the beginning, and so having that going out of Power League into something else, it gave me a stronger standing,
Right.
where I was able to adapt a lot easier than most guys coming in.
Yeah.
When I left Power League, um, the reason why I went from Power League to a local show. There was at the time on public access was the NEWA,
Hmm.
which you know very well
Yeah.
because your father was there.
Oh,
um, I've said this many times before. Your dad was actually the first one that I tell people that I got my quote unquote formal training.
wow.
So that's where I started. I just showed up at the gym one day and we just started taking lumps and bumps in the back and started going at it. But but to me, that was that was like the next step. They
Mhm.
had a big ring. They were doing shows in front of people. So that was like it was like the whole big thing. It wasn't until I got there is when I found out there was so much more wrestling than that and what I watch on TV, like WBF or E, and everything else. There was a whole lot more going on.
When
And
we
I
talked
wanted more.
when we talked the beginning, I know you're there for a lot of these guys' first match ever. I'm curious for you, how was your first match ever? I've never known this. What do you remember about your first match?
My first match, as in like from Power League or just
And
in
in chat, what you would consider your first match?
ooh, I can't even think of what my first match. So if I had to go back and think of my first match would have to be TJ Richter,
Okay.
which is where I probably me and him would go back and forth at Power League.
Mhm.
So I would have to. He's the one that sticks out the most to me. Would have to be. But again, I didn't know if I was doing something good or bad.
Mhm.
I didn't have any formal training. We just copied what was on TV. It's like this is great. Let's just do this on concrete.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. But um, I didn't get formal training until years later, when I trained with a gentleman from Puerto Rico inside of a boxing ring. When I started doing a lot of lucha libre stuff, and then I went to Yankee Pro and actually met Savannah Souza. So that's where I got my formal training. But at that point, I was already in. I was probably 3 or 4 years in already at that point.
Well, when you talk first, you've done so much in wrestling, but to you, what would you consider Jose Perez's first big opportunity in wrestling?
My first big opportunity
Yeah.
had to be for the late Tony Rumble. Funny, I was just talking about this the other day. It was the late Tony Rumble, and he had put me in the ring with. At the time, it was an up and coming internet. I'm sorry, there was no internet. An up and coming star in Devon Storm, or who people know him now as Crowbar.
Yeah. NEWA
Um,
New England is this for? NWA New England is this for?
no, this is before NW New England. This is CCW, I
Okay.
believe, Coastal Championship, I believe it was. Um, excuse me, but I have a really bad memory for all this stuff. So
Yeah.
you actually may contradict some of my
Yeah.
stuff. But it was for Tony Rumble back in that days where he again I was doing the El Diablo gimmick where I was the only one in the area really doing a masked lucha gimmick. So I was able to mix the martial arts with some of the wrestling that I was doing. So I kind of stood out from a lot of people, and that was the opportunity I was given to work with Devon Storm, and had a blast. Just to me, he was he was already doing TV stuff. He was just on the cusp of being something. So to have that, to be trusted, to have that opportunity to work with him, was great. It's something I always remember by.
You mentioned El Diablo. What was the inspiration? Because, like you mentioned, during that time, you were really the only person with the mask, and especially blending in everything. So, where does El Diablo come from?
Um, El Diablo. El Diablo was big. So when I was in Power League, I wrestled under a mask in Power League, um, under the name the Crypt Keeper.
Okay.
Um, and the Crypt Keeper came up because I didn't know any better. I was an Undertaker fan, so it was like that kind of mix. It was like, you hit me with a chair, I just kept going. So I played like the dead guy in the mix.
Yeah.
Um, so it was that type of feel. The El Diablo part really didn't come up until an interesting individual, Tiny the Terrible. Um, Again, he was wrestling for the NEWA. I was trying to make the jump for the NEWA. My wife at that time was going to school, and they bumped into each other. She knew him from school. Um, so they got to talking. She says, like, my husband wrestles. We met, and then I got brought in under the El Diablo thing, being the devil, the late Anthony Rufo's doing like Dambula. So it was like just that type of mix that just transformed over. So Tiny the Terrible was actually the creator of El Diablo.
When I look at your career, I'm curious, how does the idea come for Impact Inc. with Vertabreaker?
So Impact Inc. with Vertabreaker, my brother-in-law,
Yeah.
Altitude. The Impact Inc. was my name.
Okay.
It was just something we were kind of not lost children, but it was kind of like in a weird. They were doing things in different places. I was doing different. When that came up, I was already out doing a lot more. And we just one day was like, hey, you know what? Let's just make this little group and put it together, and it just morphed from there. We just had fun with it.
Nice. When I talk to your career, one thing I wasn't aware of before, but now I'm curious, how does the opportunity come for you to do Ring of Honor against Luis Ortiz?
Ah, so Ring of Honor was an opportunity. So I was friends with Doug Dentry. He passed away a couple of years back.
Mhm.
He was the cameraman for Ring of Honor. I got friendly with him. I forget how, but we had gone to a bunch of shows or whatever. And so I was able to, from wrestling as much as I was doing, I was able to meet all these other people,
Yeah.
and I get in touch with him. Luis Ortiz was on their radar to have an opportunity to go work for them, and Doug had asked me if they were booking him, would I be interested in working him for the show? And I was like, no, absolutely not. Why would I do that? Of course I do.
Yeah.
So I've known Luis for years, and Luis is a great talent. So he jumped on the opportunity, so that we just both went down, for the shot to wrestle down there. It was a great opportunity. I think it was for me it was. So I always had this bad thing. I always had I'm not good enough. Um, so sometimes I let that bite me. And I'm also sometimes real too nice of a guy where I like to give opposed to thinking of myself. So there are times I think of the Ring of Honor thing as a wasted opportunity.
Okay.
I think I could have did a lot more with that opportunity. But on the flip side, I was able to meet some good connections. I was able to meet some nice, some good friends. Jay Lethal, Daniels. I was able to meet a lot of the guys there when I was there that I've known throughout the years. So there's pros and cons to everything you do. So I always try to look at some kind of positive out of a negative.
Do you remember the first interaction with Luis Ortiz?
First interaction. Well, the first interaction I would have had with Luis Ortiz would have been through Tony Rumble because he was with Tony at the time.
Okay.
So we met there. If I remember correctly, I think my first interaction with Luis was just prior to Chaotic.
Okay.
And we had wrestled like a 6-man or something like that with like Brickhouse Baker and stuff like that. And that could have been for Rocky Raymond, or it could have been for Tony. Those years were kind of miscued, but yeah, Luis. Once me and Luis both being Puerto Rican, but we clicked right off the bat.
Yeah.
So it was always fun, and I was happy that I was given the opportunity to work with him in one of my final matches when the two of us wrestled up at APW.
Nice.
So it was always great. But Luis, I haven't talked to him in a little while. It's been a minute since I talked to him. Once he got out, he kind of just got out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of bittersweet. So he changed his number, but I know he's around because he just showed his face in Palmer last month for a show that was out there because it's up near his way now. Because he used to live up like in the Lynn Lowell up that way.
Okay.
Now he lives out in like the Springfield area.
Wow. When you talk Ring of Honor and making connections, one name you mentioned was Christopher Daniels. Now, I know I asked you prior to this, but is there just anything that stood out in the match with Christopher Daniels and Chad Collyer? Because just that match is insane.
All right. So funny, you and I talked about that. I went back and watched that match. That's the first time I ever watched that match.
Wow. It was only uploaded like 6 years ago or something, I think.
Huh?
It was only uploaded like a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I've never seen the match. And I'll be honest, I never wanted to see the match because I thought So I was brought in through PWF to be part of that PWF New Jersey, and they wanted me to be like the Eddie Kingston of that time, that type of like go F yourself and be that type of guy. And I quickly, and like I said earlier, I quickly realized I was definitely out of my league, and I wasn't as prepared as I was, and I think that was my own immaturity in the business. How does the saying go? Big fish, small pond, and vice versa. In New England or in the places I was wrestling, I was like, hey, Jose's here. Let's do this. And I go over there. It's like, who are you? I was never taught how to adjust to that. So it was hard for me to kind of comprehend that part of it at that time. So I feel that I did a big injustice to that match. I think that match could have. Plus, it didn't help that I tweaked my ankle in the match.
Okay.
So I tried to finish the match the way it was. But both those individuals are phenomenal talents. Yeah. If that match would have happened a few years later, I think it would have been a different match. I definitely went into that match, and after watching, telling my wife the story, I was definitely outmatched. I was definitely not prepared for that match. Daniels is a machine, and Collyer is double the machine.
Yeah.
Both incredible talent. It wasn't. I don't think I was where I needed to be mentally for that match, and I don't think I was really. It took me a lot. Some people could pick up their characters early. Mm-hmm. Some people take longer. I think I might have been in between there somewhere because that Jose Perez really wasn't full on Jose Perez yet. Like it was, but it wasn't. Like watching the match against him, like there's a lot of stuff there that I could have been doing, and I know I would have been doing later on that I didn't do then. So in hindsight, I wish I would have done more. So I feel I let not only myself but PWF at that time down in that match. And I got a lot of good feedback from both guys. They held nothing back, and they told me, the goods and the bads, which is something I always want to do, and something I actually still do to this day with all the newer talent. I try to give them more of what they could have done opposed to what they've done. Mm-hmm. So I got a lot of that feedback. So that's, to me, just as important as having a great match. Because you don't learn if you don't get the feedback. But yeah, like I said, after watching the match, I enjoyed the match. Watching it over was better than I thought in my head. Mm-hmm. But definitely outgunned. Definitely outgunned in that match.
Was there like one moment where you finally became and you realized like Jose Perez is like you have that confidence? Because you talk about in this match prior, you didn't feel yourself completely there in that full potential. When was that moment that you realized that you were?
I don't think there was one. I don't think there was really that one defining moment.
Okay.
I think it became more of a feel where I got to the point where I understood my strengths and weaknesses. I think back then I didn't know. I thought back then I was like, Oh, I can do that. I seen it on TV last week. I can do that. I think getting the opportunity to work with established talent and up and coming talent heightened my ability to understand more what I wanted to do. I was never really a full on mat technician or a big high flyer. I always try to keep myself in a position of trying to be in between that. So a good way to put it is like I was always the guy that when push comes to shove, hey Jose, you have your gear? Well, hey, a guy canceled. Can you make it to this show? Because they knew at least they give me enough freedom to feel that I can produce for them a good match, whether it be the main or the first or the middle. I was at least given that opportunity of going, Jose can give me what I need.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Whether I was booked that night or not, they can insert me into a position and go, here, go do this. Whether it be a real big guy, a really small guy, or a big fat guy, it didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
They knew I can go out and deliver it and produce something that would make not only them happy, but the crowd happy, regardless of if I was up or down.
Yeah.
So there was really no defining moment for me, I think. I think it just came to the point where I went full on into my wrestling that it was just like I tried to wrestle as much as I could, everywhere I could. I didn't matter, if it was 2 minutes or if it was half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever time I can get is what I did. I just applied it as much as I could that way. And then it shifted when I started in the 2000s when I started doing more of the hardcore stuff because everybody was doing. I was already out of the lucha libre per se, and everybody's ring of stuff was kind of all the same.
Yeah.
With little sugar in there. So I was like, okay, well, the ECW was on its way out. There was still a market for it, so I kind of went that route a little bit. And I think a lot of guys kind of find themselves where they wrestle, and they're like, I need something different in my life, and they kind of tend to turn that way.
Yeah.
I think a good example of that right now is Bear Bronson. I think I've had the pleasure of working with him behind the scenes before he went to AEW. And to see him do what he did up until that point and now come back and he's like doing all these death matches and stuff like that. And I say to myself, I know exactly what he's going through. Like I know exactly what it is. You can put him in a match and he'll wrestle anybody with no problem. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be doing all these crazy arm drags and everything else, but he'll give you a solid, strong match and wrestle and be character driven and everything else. And he'll give you this extra bit too if you need this. So I can sympathize with a guy like Bear.
Was it easy for you to adjust and get ready for the hardcore style? You mentioned earlier when it came to El Diablo. El Diablo is something different. You didn't see the mask, but the hardcore style, nobody was really doing it.
No, I flew right into that with no problem.
Wow.
I'm just a bastard kick to begin with. So
did you always want to do the hardcore style?
No, but it was more again. It was more of just the times. Nobody. So when I was doing it, it was kind of like a tiptoe, especially New England. It was a tiptoe type of situation. Like they weren't advertised. It was like, oh, we're gonna do this hardcore type of thing, and everybody kind of tiptoed around it because they didn't want to lose a building or get in trouble with the promoter or something like that. So a lot of it was very tiptoeing, and I'm not talking about the whole bleeding aspect of it, just the sense of like the tables and all this other stuff. With a lot of promotions, a lot of established promotions, there was a lot of telemarketing. So a lot of this stuff was being geared toward family-oriented schools and things of that nature. So you couldn't bring that stuff to there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to do it was kind of, I don't want to say it was underground because ECW was already doing it.
Yeah.
But I think the advantage I had was with Yankee Pro, they had their own building in New Bedford. So it was kind of like the ECW arena vibe at that time. So they had their own building that they could do it, and then they had the PAL. So we had that luxury for those guys. So we can get away with doing the crazier stuff at the building or at the PAL.
Yeah.
But then when they realized it was marketable, like I had went to one of their bigger shows of the year was Marlboro, Mass. And I believe they're still doing them. I think Live Prov or somebody, I think, or
the high school or?
Yeah, it's at the high school. I think
Top Rope does that every year. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're still doing it. We went there with full-on crazy cage matches and barbed wire and stuff like that. We were taking barbed wire to North Adams, Mass.
Wow.
And funny story. So I go out there and we wrestled Dave Padula up there. We were match before the intermission. We all do the thing. He came up with this crazy idea to do a barbed wire halo. I was like, sure, let's roll with it. So he had his little bag of gimmicks, and then the match comes. We're doing a spot. Takes the halo, puts it on my head. Gives me. He hit her. I took a buckle, and then he just slammed it on my head. And the spot, we collide, and I fall back, and I'm supposed to kind of fall in between his legs with this halo.
Yeah.
Spot. Haha. Oh my god. Well, instead of him giving me the opportunity to get up, he decides to sell and turn his leg over while I'm still basically between his knees. And the halo kind of does this. Almost tin cans my head. People lost it. Just lost it.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. And what made me laugh the most about that wasn't the match. Was going in the back and seeing King Kong Bundy clap and going, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was amazing. And then right behind him is help me out here from the Nasty Boys, the blonde-haired one.
Knobs or
Knobs.
That? Yeah.
Is the Knobs with the blonde-haired one?
Ryan Knobs, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, good job. What's the rest of us supposed to do tonight? And I'm like, listen, I didn't book it. They told me to do it then, bro. And he just laughed. He's just laughing and goes, you're just crazy, brother. You're just crazy. And we just walked off. And it was just that moment of going that they actually were in the back watching this particular match. Yeah. And all they did for the next 2 hours was just talk with us about this particular match. So doing the hardcore thing was fine for me. Like, I've done the thumbtacks, I've done the light bulbs, the barbed wire, I've done the fire. I took fire up to Canada and did some stuff with Stryker up in not Matt Stryker. Yeah. Another striker from New England. Took that up to Canada and did stuff up in Canada. We did a show in Canada. They couldn't get the ring over the border. They finally get the ring over the border. It's like 8 o'clock at night. They couldn't get the ring together. The guy that brought it over did not put the ring together. Mm-hmm. So then canceling the show, and the promoter that was there said, "Yeah, we to cancel." I'm like, "Well, listen, I'm already dressed. You already paid me. There's 600 plus people and still out there drinking." I said, "I just need 20, 30 minutes and a microphone." And we went out there for 20, 30 minutes and just wrestled around the building doing hardcore around the building. People lost their mind for it.
Wow.
So yeah. The flow was easy to it. And I think a lot of people gravitated for me doing it because I tend to kind of blend the two together between the hardcore and the wrestling aspect. Yeah. It wasn't all about let's just throw every gimmick that we can in there. So I try to have some kind of fun with it, but it also depended on the person I was doing it with.
You mentioned Canada. I'm curious. Obviously, there was no ring, but was there anything that stood out about the fans in Canada or just wrestling and being there in general compared to the States?
Well, so I only did the Canada thing once. Yeah. And I can't really say it. The fans, I mean, they must have. So it was at a school. It was at a college in it's about an hour off from Montreal. Okay. It was a college that was out there. A college with a liquor license, which was crazy to me. Yeah. There was, when the doors opened, there was about almost 1,000 people in the gymnasium ready for this match. Yeah. And all the boys were there, and nobody could do nothing. The ring finally shows up at like 7:45. Yeah. Nobody knows how to set it up. And so a lot of people had left, but there was still a good 600-700 people there, still just drinking, waiting for a show. Yeah. So it was for the ones that are wrestling fans, they appreciate it. And I think there was just people that were there that was like, there's nothing else to do on a Saturday night. I'm just gonna go watch this wrestling at the school. But people that I know that travel to Canada tell me it's night and day. Okay. That there's a very different appreciation for wrestling. Especially when it's talent from outside of Canada. So they do tend to appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a chance to go back to Canada. I had 2 other opportunities to go back. Just the scheduling didn't work out. So I just never bothered to go back up there. And to be honest, I hate driving. I hate driving. Yeah. And to drive those, and a lot of people don't know this story. For 12 years of my wrestling career, I didn't have a driver's license. So for me, driving anywhere, it was if it wasn't around the corner, my wife would take me.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
everywhere I went, that's why I get to the point where my wife is known as Mrs. Perez or Mrs. Diablo.
Yeah.
That's because she everywhere I went, that's she was there. She would drive, and I was driving while she was pregnant. You know, I was driving after we had our first kid. I was driving after she was pregnant again and
Yeah.
having her second child. It was that type of thing. I got to the point I was like, yeah, I gotta get my license. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, she. But I hated the drives. I
Mhm.
really I enjoyed the drives getting there because you get that. Oh, I'm going to the show. This is great. I can't wait. You know, then you drive the 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Like I remember going down to Pennsylvania and it's like, 6 hours. I'm like, oh, this is great. I love it. I go down there, I do my 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it's like, shit, I got to drive 6 hours back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that part kind of weighed on me. That's why I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to start staying close to home. Be a homebody.
So looking at your career, you mentioned one of the matches, the no rope barbed wire. Before that, we talked first interactions. I don't know if you remember this. What's Jose Perez's first interaction with Brickhouse Baker?
Brickhouse Baker. Can we swear on this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, fuck him. Okay. And I say that with a whole lot of respect. When I first met Brickhouse Baker, I could not stand him.
What was it about him?
It was just he's been wrestling. He was wrestling longer than I was. He was already a star. When I got to, and he probably doesn't remember. And I don't remember a lot of stuff, but I remember this.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't remember this. When I first went up the top rope, Savannah Sousa was doing the booking at top rope. There were times that they would do shows with like TV tapings. When I tell you there would be 30 matches on a night, I'd wrestle 4, 5, 6 times sometimes.
Wow.
So when I first met Brickhouse going up there, he was the man. Like he was their Steve Austin. You know, that's you put a something on him, and he came off that way. Whether he meant to do it, Brickhouse is very brash. He could be very gritty, even in real life. And some people don't like that. Some until you get to know him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once you know, he's a totally different person. But at that time, I think it was just he didn't know any better. And that was just it. But even with that, something about it, just I gravitated to him. There was something about him.
Yeah.
That made me was just like I want to fight him, and it wasn't like I want to fight him to like I want to hurt him. Like I want to fight him. Like I want to wrestle. It's something like I think we would have some fun, and yeah, we did. we've probably wrestled each other more than anybody else in our own careers.
Wow.
Like it was that much. I mean, it was true. I'd have to say 17 years. Mm-hmm. There was a stretch. There was a stretch where there would be not a single year, if not a single month, that I didn't get in the ring with him.
Wow.
And there was definitely 2 or 3 years back to back that it was literally every month. Mm-hmm. Like every month, me and him were doing something. We did a show in New Hampshire. I was on my way. I was running late because I had another booking, and I had to fly to New Hampshire to go do this. And I get there. It was with Brickhouse and somebody else. And as I get there, I'm like, listen, I'm sorry. I'm late. If you can't book me, that's fine. I get it. They're like, no. And then, like, I'm literally walking in, and there's a match on, and his match is next. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, just you, me, and I forget who the other person is. He's like, that's it. You're over. I'm like, I'm just getting it. What do you mean? You go over.
Yeah.
With nothing. And we went out there for 15 minutes, like we've been going over stuff for 2.5 hours.
Wow. Like
me and Brickhouse had that type of chemistry where some people may say, "Oh, you guys were trash." Some people tell us we had a profound impact on what they watched. I love Brickhouse to death, man. He was that. This business is about respect and love and sharing an opportunity and being careful with somebody. Brickhouse is somebody that I never, ever, ever thought of, shit, is he going to do something that's going to hurt me?
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can, even when it came to the hardcore stuff, Brickhouse was never into the hardcore stuff. I brought Brickhouse into the hardcore stuff.
Was it easy to convince him?
Yeah. because he knew it was with me.
Nice.
He even said it. He goes, the only reason why I did it because I knew it was with you.
Nice.
His very first barbed wire match was with me.
What do you remember about that no rope barbed wire match?
Nah, the no rope barbed wire, again, it was a double booking.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I had already left Top Rope at that time.
Mm-hmm.
By that time, and then I came back just to visit one day of the show, and then we just got the conversation, and I was like, I'd like to come back to do this particular match with Brickhouse, but I don't want it to be like a one-shot deal. So I think we did like I think they had me come back for like a 6-month run to build it to this opportunity, to build it to this spot. And I remember it just so happened that they had booked it was the main event, but they had booked it the same night I had another booking that I'd already committed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't aware that they were going to do it that night. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it was for Tony Rumble. And I explained to him, I said, hey, this is the deal. And Tony was like, no, don't worry about it. I'll put you on first, and we'll do the deal. And at this point, I was already out of El Diablo. I was already doing my Jose Perez thing.
Yeah.
So I was well past that. But yeah, he's like, no, dude. So I went out and did the first match and raced back. And I remember they were like texting me, like, hey, listen, like, the show's at intermission now. And I'm like, I'm 45 minutes away. I'm trying to rush there because the show's at PAL. I was up in like Lynn somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was up far. I was like, so I'm on my way. And I think what I remember the most about it is the place was packed. And at that time we used to, and I don't mean me, I mean just in general, Top Rope used to pack that place. And you've been to Top Rope, you've been to PAL.
Insane.
Every seat, every raft upstairs, there were people standing. Like we used to pack that place for our bigger shows. And I remember like getting there and going, oh man, it's late, so I'm pretty sure like not gonna be a lot of people there. It's gonna be there. And I remember like getting in the back and looking outside and he goes, oh no, everybody's still here. Like everybody's waiting for this. This is the thing. Holy shit. So I get together with Brickhouse. We plotted all that was gonna happen. And I think that the spot that got him was I did the Sabu Funk Cactus kind of get whipped into the barbed wire, like all wrapped up in it.
Yeah. And
then we just took it home from there. And he was like, you're crazy. I'm not. He's like, that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we had no fucks given for each other and all the fucks in the world to give. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was just like, I could hit him as hard as I want, and he'll hit me just as hard, and neither one would be upset that we hit each other. I remember when we were in our early career of the Diablo Brickhouse Baker stuff, we had did this big shtick where I was introducing a buddy of mine, Pretty Boy Hernandez, one of my closest friends, and he was sitting in the audience, and Brickhouse was there, and he had Sandy Starr as his manager, and we did this thing. We fought outside, and they bumped into John, and his popcorn goes flying, and then John, like, we get back in the ring. John storms the ring, and like security jumps, and the cops that had the cool thing about Top Rope, they used the real cops were there.
Yeah.
So they had no idea that this was happening. So they actually jumped in the ring to try to stop John, and John's like, I'm part of the show.
Wow.
And so we're doing the thing, and I remember there was a chair, and I did a wild chair shot at him. And not thinking it was going to hit him, and it caught him and it split him. And he's bleeding everywhere. He goes down. The match is done. Big melee. He leaves. I remember being upstairs in tears, like almost uncontrollable tears.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh my God, I think I might have killed him, because he left and went right to the hospital. Went right to the hospital, and nobody told me nothing. I was upstairs, just like I was in complete panic, because it was the first time that somebody had gotten hurt in my hands, something like that.
Yeah. And
I'm not talking like her, like, oh, I hurt my shoulder, or like somebody physically got hurt.
Yeah. For
being careless. And he goes to the ER, and we still had a spot to do later on the night, which to me it was gone.
Yeah.
It was gone. He comes back in. He's got this big bandage on his head. And he's like, "What you doing?" Like, I'm gonna give him a hug. He's like, and he goes, "Oh, I'm all right. I'm like, we gotta go downstairs. We got the other spot." I'm like, "Bro, you're like you're free willying it out of your head right now."
Yeah.
He goes, that's fine. Don't worry about it. let's go. He gives me a fucking slap, and he goes, we got this other spot. Let's go downstairs. And we just ran it like nothing happened.
Wow.
And then at the end of the night, he's just like, Jose, listen. He goes, stop it. He goes, shit happens. Shit happens. If shit didn't happen, we wouldn't be doing this. It's just we would stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because it stuck in my head is like we take each other's lives in our own hands every time we step in the ring. And it applies to everybody.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. It was like, he goes, I know you wasn't trying to hurt me. It happened. It just happened. And in a weird sense, years later, we had another match where he gave me, so Brickhouse does the pile driver he does.
Oh yeah.
Gave me, so do you remember Steve Austin Steve Austin Bret Hart?
Okay.
When he got the pile driver.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of fucked him up.
Yeah.
Same situation. He gave me the pile driver. I lost all feeling in my body. I was numb.
Yeah.
Like I was in, like, if you ever see the video, the footage of it, you'll actually see me start crying because I literally couldn't feel nothing. And funny thing was, Brickhouse had no idea, but Brickhouse was in cell mode and was just like, this is what I did, and I'm slowly getting my feeling back. And it was just a reversal of what happened before. And he's like, what happened? Because the pile driver just caught me the wrong way. And he was like, completely upset about it. And he had done that spot. It's the same spot we've done, 50 times at least.
Yeah.
With never an issue. It just takes that one time. You know what I'm saying? But we never, and it was just like, okay, what are we doing next week?
Yeah.
It was that type of stuff. So Brickhouse was, I feel everybody in wrestling has that one guy or girl that they know that's their mate. That's their bride or that's their wrestling husband. You know what I'm saying? That's their guy. Mine is Brickhouse.
Was there like a moment?
I have a lot of favorite guys, but Brickhouse is the guy.
I was gonna ask you, was there like a moment or like what was it about the chemistry in you and Brickhouse? You've wrestled so many guys, you've done the drive so many times. Brickhouse Baker though, what was it about the connection with you guys?
Like I said, I think with Brickhouse is that we were just on that same wavelength. We were just like, we can just show up and just go. Like Brickhouse is just he gets it. Like if he's not gonna go over something, we're not gonna go up there. We understand how the card is. We're looking like, Jose, we're on fourth on the card. I was like, who's on first? Who's on last? Okay, so then we're not gonna be here. We're not gonna be here. We're gonna be right about here. We're gonna give them just enough for them to appreciate what we're doing for them, and just enough to get the match before us over and the match coming up higher.
Yeah.
So we knew our place on the card, and there was never we're gonna get all our shit in. You know what I'm saying? We have to get all our stuff in now. Forget the next guy or forget what the main event's doing. We never had that mentality. We had the mentality that was like, the show has a run that needs to follow.
Yeah.
So for me, Brickhouse was like, I can get called in a second and say, hey, I need you to work Brickhouse. Okay, what are we doing? He's like, you want to do you want to do Middleborough, 98. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like that type of vibe.
Yeah.
We could just do and not question it.
Yeah.
It was like when we retired, because who really retires?
Yeah.
He knew he was at the point we wanted, and then I was on the point I was doing the same thing because I was like, all right, listen, I'm gonna have a grandkid at some point. I want to be able to walk. And I was already on my ending cycle, and he hit me up and he's like, I want you to be my last match. And my last match was supposed to happen in Springfield, Mass. And when Brickhouse called me, I was like, all right, well, obviously I'll definitely doing it. Now his match was going to be in December, and my final was supposed to be like August or September, something like that. And
same year.
Same year. I was finishing up just before him, and I talked to the promoter. I was like, listen, I know I promised you my last match. I said, but this is the situation. I can't not do this. And the promoter completely understood. He goes, no, I completely get it. No harm. You do what you have to do, and he gave me the grace of doing that. So we did our last match at the PAL, which is appropriate where it wasn't at that point. I wasn't part of PAL anymore. I wasn't part of Top Rope and stuff like that. So to be able to have that opportunity to go back, it was cool to be, because it's such a great building.
Yeah.
But what was memorable for me, so earlier I said that it really wasn't about just getting your shit in. That match was literally about just getting your shit in. Let's just not care about the booking aspect of it. Not worry about the who's up or who's down. The heat, the shine. Let's just go out and just beat the piss out of each other, and then we'll go grab a drink.
Nice.
Like he hung me off the balcony, which he's done before.
Yeah.
Like I hung him off the balcony. We was just out there doing just outrageous stuff. But I think what was most memorable for our retirement with him wasn't what happened in the match or even after the match. It's what happened before the match.
Okay.
Gets to the building. I've always been for the most part, usually early first guy in, usually last ones that go out. Always been like that, even to this day when I go to shows.
Yeah.
He was at the building, and you've been to PAL, so have you been downstairs?
No, I was.
The locker room is downstairs.
Yeah.
Downstairs in the boiler room type of thing. So the locker room's downstairs, and he was already set up. All the boys were there. I got there, doing a handshake and whole 9 yards, and we touch, me and him touch base with each other, and we do our normal hugs, how the family, how the kids, yada yada. And our match is last that night. So our match is last, and there was, I believe, 8 matches. Our match including 8 or 7, something like that.
Yeah.
But our match was last, and so I sit in one place. He's got his stuff sitting in the other place. We chit chat for a minute. I say hi to the boys and whatnot. This is probably about 6. Shows down until 8.
Yeah.
Chit chat, no big deal. Sit down, kind of relax. I think I had a sandwich. Eat my sandwich. Nothing. Show starts. I help a couple of guys with their stuff. Show starts. Me and Brickhouse have not talked yet. Show's going on. 3rd match in. Look over me. You good? Yeah, I'm good. All right. Keep going.
Yeah.
Still haven't talked over stuff. No big deal. Go on. Intermission's now going on. Sitting chit chat. I'm like, hey, I got some shots. Want to do some shots? Take a quick, pre-game shot. Nothing to get hammered on, but just a little shot of vodka, just to unwind, just to get the wind off. And I told him, I said, a couple of nips, so we'll have like 1 or 2 before match, maybe like during each match before our match. But and I don't condone that.
Yeah.
It's not something I did.
Yeah.
But it was just that day. It was just like that's
for sure. Yeah.
So we intermission finishes. Next match is on. Still haven't talked yet. And I believe it's 3 matches. 3 matches. Yeah, 3 matches. Second half than ours. And there were like 2 of them were short, and then 1 was a longer match. Still haven't talked. And I remember one of the guys, I forget who it was, comes over to me. He's like, "Hey, Jose," he goes, "I'm watching you from over there." And he comes in like 2 seconds later, somebody else walks over. He's like, "Hey, are you guys gonna go? What do you guys have planned for your match?" I don't fucking know. He said, "What do you mean?" I don't know. Whatever he wants to do. He's like, "You guys gonna go over?" And I goes, "No, I'm not gonna go over anything with." I said, "I've wrestled a man 1,000 times."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I look over the camera, like, "Listen, hey, watch. Hey, Brickhouse, you good?" He goes, "Yeah." "You got anything planned?" "No." "You?" "No." "I'll see you out there." And that was it.
Yeah.
They were like, "What?" The mindset. So that's why I bring it up. The mindset of nowadays, you have all these people, and I watch when I go to shows. It's like they're going over their matches. They're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And doing 6 billion spots. But if you tell any one of them to go, "Hey, go out there and wrestle right now. Get it right now," they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't. They get tongue tied, and it's like, "Oh, the referee's gonna," and the top of it all, the referee's gonna tell you when who's going over, like in the ring.
Yeah.
While the match is going on, in front of a house.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with that. He's a Brickhouse. Literally, the match before ours, he comes, hobbling himself over like always does. He sits down in a chair in front of me. He's like, "All right, what do you want to do?" I said, "We got this. We can do this. Easy. All right, slap. Take 1 more shot." He goes off. That was it.
Nice.
I think we literally sat with each other for all of 5 minutes.
Wow.
And just went out there and had a blast.
Yeah.
We just went out and had a blast. You know what I'm saying? Was it a WrestleMania match? No, it wasn't meant to be a WrestleMania. It wasn't meant to be WrestleMania. It wasn't meant to be this 5-star, Liger or Okada match or something like that.
Yeah.
There's 2 guys that have been wrestling this long, just want to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did. Shocked everybody on the audience, but that was the point.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
So one thing I know about Jose Perez, since even when I first started going to shows, is the iconic chops. So I'm curious, what was it about the chops? Because even when I started going, everyone used to talk about him. Well, what is that made it stand out about Jose Perez's chops?
That I would make people bleed.
Wow.
So my chops came up. There is a gentleman, Steve King,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, New England veteran
Yeah.
that had wrestled. We were wrestling in a battle royal, and he had chopped me so hard that I swear my heart stopped.
Was he over or under? How do you do it?
No, he was, Ric Flair.
Okay.
Ric Flair. I hate that whole.
Yeah.
That's not a chop to me. That's a slap.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate when they do those. Mine was straight, knife edge.
Oh yeah.
And I remember that, but then I remember. Here's a funny story. So my chops come from Rick Fuller.
Yep.
So if anybody from the area knows, Rick Fuller was known
Iconic.
to have the chops.
Yeah.
Like he was the man. Well, one day I decided to call him out on it, and I chopped the chop with him. And afterwards, he was like, "Let's never do that again."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I completely agree with you." I was very heavy-handed with my chops. I think what happened was with my chops, my chops were very loud and left in a very vivid mark.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people realize that they're like, "Shit, who's like a chop?" But funny story was with Rick Fuller. We did a show for Top Rope Yankee at in Uxbridge, Mass, at a school. I was supposed to wrestle somebody else that night, and I get to the building, and the booker at the time was Tony, this gentleman called Tony, pulls me aside, and this is Rick Fuller pre WCW.
Okay.
Just before he went to WCW, so it was close to that point.
Yeah.
Like Fuller was at that point where he was doing all the traveling, he was getting all the stuff. He just wasn't at WCW yet. So he was like one of the features on the show. And I was still doing Diablo at the time. Tony pulls me aside, away from everybody else. To this day, I don't know why this was the case.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Jose, I need you to do me a favor." I was like, "What's up?" He goes, "I need you to work Fuller tonight." And before I could say it, he's like, "You didn't do nothing wrong. I need you to just work. We were supposed to do somebody else. He can't make it."
Is this your first time ever working him?
Yeah, this was my first time working. And I've been in a locker room many times, so we knew each other. So it wasn't like strangers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that can make a thing. He's like, "But I need you to work. I need you to work Fuller tonight." He goes, but what stuck out was like, "You didn't do anything wrong, though. It's not that, I don't you think you did anything wrong?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, man. I'll fine by me."
Yeah.
Because that was an opportunity. You giving me an opportunity to work somebody like Fuller. Fuller was like a lot taller than I was, but I was fine. I had the mentality like I'll just bob and weave and make him tired.
Yeah.
So I said, "No problem." I go up to Fuller. I'm like, "Hey, Rick," I said, "You and me tonight. What would you like to do?" And I was brought up in the term of, "You're more established than I am. You're the veteran. I am not. You tell me what I am doing. Life goes on." He's like, "Jose, we'll do this." He goes, "Anything you particularly like to do?" I said, "I do my kicks. And I got my kicks. I got, and I chopped, but it wasn't like I wasn't chopping at that time." And he was like, "All right." He goes, "This is what we're gonna do." I said, "You do this, this, and this, and then I want you at some point you just duck, and I want you to, give me the round kick or something like that, and then we'll start going home."
Yeah.
Even though he laid down the match for me, I said, "No, man, thank you very much, sir." Go to the match, go outside, and get in the ring, and in my head, I don't know if it was an epiphany or a moment of stupidity. And so I go in the match. Rick Fuller used to wear the lumberjack gimmick, so he used to have a flannel shirt. So the spot was throw a line, throw it back, turns around, and I was supposed to hit him. No problem. Turn around, he turns around, I took him by his shirt and I ripped the shirt open, and I killed off with the hardest chop I could possibly do.
Yeah.
And hit him. And I remember hitting him and him going and me glancing over at the entrance and everybody going, oh my God, what did he just do? Because nobody ever really chopped Fuller.
Yeah.
Nobody ever just keeled off and just chopped him. So Rick Fuller used to have this thing where he used to take the guy and he'd throw him in the corner and he would give him the 1, 2, 3, and then he'd open you up and he'd give you the big overhand. And then it was time to go home, hit the boot, whatever, and the power bomb and a story.
Yeah.
And that was the plan. It was supposed to be that into the corner, give you the one, and boom into it. I give him this big chop, bow, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I know it's coming now." He takes me by my right here.
Yeah.
Gives me the big throw. He's about 6'7". Gives me a big throw. I take the buckle. He runs up to me. I take the big buckle, so I automatically throw my arms up over, so I'm spread for him. Comes over, gives me the big one. Pop, and he's always 1, 2, if not 3.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna go. He gives me the 1. Bow! Nice big strong one. Then he takes me, he spreads my head up, get ready for the next one, and he comes over, gives me a big forearm. Take it home. Gives me the boot, gives me the box slam, that was it. So I found out later that when he liked somebody, it was one chop forearm.
Okay.
So I would talk that night, and he's like, nobody has ever walked up to me and just shot a chop on me like that, and especially chop that way. He says, there's no way I was going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you did what a lot of guys wouldn't do. And from that day forward, it was always, anytime we worked, it was like, I'd give him, he'd give me one. And that was it. There was never a bunch of crazy chops anymore.
Wow.
And then when he retired, I was adopted as in, Jose's got the meanest chops in the area. To the point where I would go to some shows sometimes and people were like, hey, Jose's here tonight, so nobody throw chops.
Wow.
And I was like, guys, stop, don't do that. Goes, no. So there was some times we'd go to shows and like they try to respect a lot of stuff. Like if somebody's finisher was like a pile driver, don't nobody else do a pile driver.
You never see that nowadays.
Drives me nuts. So I try to make that a point when I book shows.
Yeah.
And I'm in the back. I try to get guys like JT Dunn does the duck by elbow. Guy, nobody do an elbow tonight.
Wow.
That's JT's finish.
Yeah.
Because if that's his finish and you're doing that halfway through a match, then what's the point of him doing that? It
makes us look weak. Yeah.
So my thing was a chop. Nobody threw chops. I remember at one show, this young kid, and he just brain farted, but he threw a chop at somebody in a match. In Tony, I think it was Tony, the Tony Maniac from Thing, got him aside. He's like, "Yo, you were told don't throw chops. Like what part didn't you get?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's here tonight. That's his thing. And so he got like a scolding over, and I'm like, "No, bro, I appreciate it. You gotta do that." He goes, "No, because that's how it should be respected. It's like if that's your shtick, don't do it."
Mm.
Like Brickhouse had the power driver. He also had his big elbow from the top.
Yeah, flying brick.
Nobody was allowed to do that stuff. If he was on the show, they couldn't do that.
Mm.
And if they did it, they got sent home.
Wow.
You don't get that nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got guys that do cutters, and there's 15, 20 cutters on a show of different variations all night long. It just drives me insane.
When you talk wrestling big guys, this one I didn't know anything about. What stood out, or how the opportunity come to wrestle Samoa Joe?
A lot of if behind that Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe came up. I wasn't supposed to work Samoa Joe.
Okay.
So there was a gentleman that wanted to run shows. He brought me on to help him put shows together. He was able to book Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was in that cusp of becoming a bigger name.
Yeah.
I believe it was supposed to be him and Wagner Brown, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
And I was trying to put Wagner for him. He goes, no. Because I think we did 3 shows at this point. And he's like, no. I want you to do it. You've worked hard for me. I want you to have this match. And I'm like,
yeah,
I appreciate it, but I never liked to be the guy that was like, oh, I'm booking a show, and then he's booking the guy, booking himself with the talent. That wasn't the case. I didn't book myself. I was dead set against wrestling. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do it. It was supposed to be Wagner. And I said, we get somebody else. He said, no, it's just you do it. I'm like, how do I put this one? So Joe, at that time, and some people that know him may say differently though, but at that time, Joe had a chip on his shoulder, and I think he has a chip on his shoulder all the time anyway. Mm. But he was very over of a dick that day. He didn't really want to be there. He was kind of like shitty with fans. He was cool in the back when it came down to the match, whatever. Do you know anything about the match?
No, I was gonna ask you about it.
Okay, we actually got into a fight.
Okay,
me and Samoa Joe kind of got into a fight.
Okay.
So I used to do this over the top leg drop, over the top rope. So I used to like somersault. I used to grab the top rope and flip myself over and drop a leg drop.
Yeah.
So we do our match, and I tell him to do this. I'm gonna have you move. I call the move. He doesn't move. He didn't hear me say move. And in part, that's probably my fault. But I know I didn't want to what end up happening to happen. So I knew I wanted him to move. So I said, move. He doesn't move. I land on his face. And I land on his face. He gets up screaming, hollering, "Oh, you broke my eye." He starts just throwing random punches and kicks into the corner. Gives me one shot, sets me up on the top, hits me with the muscle buster. That was the match. The match was literally 5 minutes long, if that. That's the whole match.
Yeah.
Then he gets in the back and he starts flipping the fuck out. Yada. He starts screaming and yelling. And I was like, "Go F yourself." There's a whole bunch of unprofessional stuff that happened. It is what it is. We end up bumping into each other again that night at the restaurant after, like an hour or two later. And unbeknownst to a lot of people who at the show only knew that part, doesn't know this part. He ends up getting up and pulling. He goes, "I'm sorry, man." He goes, I blew up and I shouldn't blow up. He goes, "You definitely shouldn't have landed on me, but I shouldn't have blown up like that." In my head is I know I have things coming up, and the last thing I wanted was a broken eye or a black eye going into TV.
Yeah.
Bro, so I apologize, but I was like, "Bro, I'm complete sorry." I said move, and I'm pretty sure you didn't hear me because I probably didn't say it loud enough, and I'll take the heat for that. He goes, but I get it. I get it. There's no hard feelings. I get it. And I bumped into him years later.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an issue, but
nice.
Yeah, that was I got to work him just because the promoter wanted me to work him.
Wow.
Even though I didn't want to work him.
Yeah.
I wanted somebody else to do it. I enjoy, as much as I enjoyed wrestling, I enjoy the behind the scenes. I like seeing the guys. I like seeing the show through their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I produce a lot of the stuff for Ann and Tomas for BMT and Ariel.
Yeah.
I produce a lot of their stuff behind the scenes. Like they'll bounce their ideas for matches off me, or if I'm on the show, if I'm booking the show, they always want to make sure it's how I want to formula, and they come with their stuff, and I kind of piece it together for them, and we get the outcome that we get, and that Ghana respect is what I like, because then I sit back and watch. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. I think for me, a cool moment was, did you by chance go to RWA when BMT and Garasa? Yes, you were there.
Yeah, cage or ladder?
The cage.
Yeah.
Cage.
Oh yeah.
I put the ending together for that.
Wow.
I got together with them and I put that ending together for them because they had something else planned. I'm like, I'm telling you guys need to, if you follow this idea, it's gonna get over. And I think it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Especially with the Katie thing, because being the Katie's not used to it yet, she wasn't understanding how it was gonna play out. I'm like, listen, just gonna take you out of the equation. It's gonna mean more when you come back later. She got her moment, he got his moment, got the title over.
Yeah.
And they understood it afterward. And BMT always, BMT is very smart for it. But Grassa came up to me, he goes, Jose, you're absolutely right. He goes, I got to listen to it. I never listened. And I was just like, wow, this is a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
So being able to watch that and understanding what they're doing, how they played it out was great to see.
Nice.
So I had to live for that part.
How does the idea for Rican Havoc come?
So Rican Havoc was Rican Havoc, Don Vega and myself. So I've known Don Vega for years.
Yeah.
Don Vega started out a few years after mine. He was training with us. I helped train him when he first started out a little bit, and then he moved on and started doing a lot more. We were both in PWF, and it was just, I think it just became an easy fit. The Wreaking Havoc, if memory serves me, he came up with it because there was a singles wrestler by the name.
Okay.
That had the Wreaking Havoc. I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
Wow.
But I think it was like Wreaking Havoc something. And I was like, hey, that'd be cool if we used the Wreaking Havoc. You know what I'm saying? So we adopted that, and that's how we were doing in PWF for a little bit.
Wow. You mentioned earlier when you were wrestling Brickhouse that eventually the idea came that you were going to decide pro wrestling was something that you were going to retire from. How far in advance, like, was this an idea for? You mentioned you were eventually going to become a grandfather, but when did the idea of retiring come for you?
Um, I think it's always that. So I never really. Let me back up a little bit.
Mhm.
So pro wrestling is I believe, is a two-folded type of situation. You're either in it 100%, or you're in it because you love it.
Yeah.
And I say that where I'm in it because I love pro wrestling. I love watching it. I love being part of it. Even from the goods and the bads. It's such a cool. Even now watching TV and seeing thousand people cheering at something that, for the most part, people call fake or predetermined or whatever, however they want to justify it. You're still not gonna get that type of emotion in any other sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you know what, your favorite team might win a Super Bowl or or a playoff game or whatever, and you'll still get that burst of excitement. But you're not gonna get that the next time you see them, the next game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not gonna get that. Where in wrestling, if done correctly, you'll always have that feeling of wow, and you want to see it again. You want to get to that next episode. And that's how that is. And I lost my train of thought now.
How does the idea for retiring come into
Oh, that's what I'm sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
So I think for me, I got to a point where it's like I think I was comfortable knowing that I got to do what I loved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still able to walk.
Yeah.
I feel, and I hope I'm respected by my peers for the most part.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I'm not the easiest and the nicest person. I can come over. I can be kind of a dick. I won't lie about that.
Uh-huh.
So I could, and it was never a I think I'm better than you mindset. I think it's more of I was just strong in what I felt was right for me.
Yeah.
But the thing of retirement, I think it was always just I knew someday that I was gonna be a grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, and I was like, I want to be able to, play with them like I do now.
Yeah.
And have fun with them. Where I knew I wasn't just gonna keep doing this to do. I mean, there are guys that started trying to do this at 56 years old. I'm like, I'm not doing that. This is no way. You know what I'm saying? Will I do little spots here and there? Yo, yeah. Well, I'll take a bump. Sure, I'll take a bump. I'll do something to invest in something that's going to generate something for a new person coming in. It's going to help them move. Yeah, I'll do something. By all means, I'll still do stuff. But I just got asked this past weekend if I want to wrestle. I'm like, you're absolutely nuts. No way. No way. My wife would kill me.
Yeah.
My daughter would kill me.
I was going to say, you talk about retirement. You have that insane match with Brickhouse Baker where you guys talk for 5 minutes total. You have that match in 2013. And then how does the conversation happen in 2017 for you to come back for one?
It's just. What was in 2017?
It was, I forgot who you wrestled. It was Wrestle Jam. And then I remember 2018, you wrestled Richard Holliday.
Okay, so those were because it was a charity situation.
Okay.
So the one for Wrestle Jam, it was a charity thing. He brought Wrestle Jam back. And the only reason why I did that because it was for charity. I believe it was for a young girl. And I was going to be able to wrestle with my boys. Bobby Ocean.
Was it a 6-man?
Yeah, it was myself, Bobby Ocean, Ron Zombie, against the Canadian superstars, Dave Cole, Jay Busta. It was supposed to be a different individual, but I can't remember his name. I think it's like something like Sherrod or something like that. I didn't know him from a hole in the wall. The only reason why I agreed to wrestle with him is he was out of the Dudley school. So I reached out to Devon and asked him about him, and he put him over very well. And I knew a little bit about him wrestling wise that we were like, all right, we'll go with this. That's the only reason I agreed to work. But I did the show just because I was going to work my boys.
Okay.
So it was a benefit situation. And then I worked Holliday because Holliday was working for us for XWA, and I was going down to BAPW.
Yeah.
And helping out every once in a blue moon like that. And I was like, he was starting to get that thing, and because they felt that I had something to offer, they asked me if I wanted to wrestle Holliday. I said, oh yeah, wrestle Holliday. So I did the whole thing where, I was like on his side type deal, whatever the case may be, and I turned on him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we had the match. So it was fun. Went longer than it needed to go. I'm not used to being the heel that they wanted me to be. So the match was kind of clunky because they wanted him to be a baby, and he's just not a babyface guy.
Yeah.
So it was we kind of clashed a little bit.
Yeah.
But the match was what it was, and I joined. It was just with Holliday Sunday, as a matter of fact. Saturday.
Yeah.
Or Sunday.
Wrestling character Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, I was just with him Sunday when I saw. Holliday's one of those guys that I think he's missing that one thing. He's just like one step, that one opportunity away from somebody going, I need him. I want him on my show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of big things. He's super active on social media. The one thing that with Holliday that I would say I'm proud of that I said to somebody and it kind of stuck, and he does it. I don't know if he does it unconsciously or not.
Mm-hmm.
But he does this thing where he goes up to the ring and he does it every time. So he came to train with us. He was working with us at XWA, and the first 2 times he came up, people hated him, but they were hated him like I want to burn you in a car.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not the type of hate you want. You don't want somebody you don't want a fan to hate you physically because you're just a shitty person.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to hate you for your character. So he asked me the question one day. He said, "Hey, there's something there's something I need and I can't figure out." I said, "All right, listen, this is what I want you to do." I said, "I want you." So our stage, the way our stage came out, it wasn't centered to the ring; it was slightly offset.
Okay.
I said, "What I want you to do is when you go out to the ring, you go to your left, where our stairs are. You go to your left, and you make the impression that you're gonna go by the steps, and you're gonna stop, and you're just gonna look down that ringside area, all the way to the other end of the building. Just look right past the fans. Just look, because our building wasn't huge. I said, look past everybody. I said, then you're gonna walk to the opposite corner from where when he took the left. So you're gonna turn around, go back the other way. So now you're on the other side of the ring. You're gonna do the exact same. You're gonna get to the corner, kind of pause and look down that side, and make the impression just no. Turn back around, walk up into the ring, and then when you get in the ring, go to the ropes to the side, go to the far rope.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the crowd that you didn't look at. So he does what I told him, and then he does it for the show, and he's like, huh. He's like, all right. And then he was like, hold on, what's up?
Yeah.
So he's like, all right. And then he goes, why am I doing it like this? I said, well, think about this. I said, when you go to the corner, that first corner, and you look down that aisleway, you're acknowledging to them that they're not worth your time. You're portraying this character, you're supposed to be better than everybody. I said, they're not worth your time. So when you go to the other side, you're going to falsely give this side your attention when you go to the other side. And then you're going to do the exact same thing to those people on that side. But now when you get in the ring and you stand in the ring and you go up to the rope and you acknowledge them from there, you are now telling them that they are beneath you because you are much higher.
Yeah.
And it clicked. It just clicked for him. He knew. The second time he goes out, the second show he comes back and does the exact same thing, the audience had a whole different feel for it. Because they already got it once, and then when he went and did it again, he got in the ring, and he looked down at him, and he was like, that's right, you guys bought a ticket to see me. The best you can do right now is tie my shoe. That's how high you are. And then I said, then you walk back, and then you do your pose for the camera. That's where you get your photo op, and then we'll play the music down. It clicked for him. He understood it, and then he understood. And then he started listening to it.
Yeah.
I said, when you go out, don't listen to him. I said, just follow this motion and go. The next show, follow this motion and start to listen. By the third time, you'll have them right here. They'll be right here for you. And by the third show, he had them right here. And it was to this day, if you watch the way he does it pretty much on every show. Sometimes, but now he's got his own variation of it. Yeah. But if you really break it down and look at it, that's what he does. He goes to one side. He kind of goes, yeah, no. He goes to the other side. And then he gets up on a ring. And he slowly does his little strut now. He looks up at the hard cam. Then he gets in and goes to the far rope.
Have you ever did a seminar? Because this is insane.
No. But I mean, I like to do, I'll do shows. I'll with certain people that I feel that they're missing something they're interested. I'll do a lot of that stuff with them. I just did that over the weekend and whatnot with Ariel and in BMT because they had some guys who were holding flags and they had no idea what they're doing. So
Mm.
I just, I was coaching them through, and so RWA, the whole big entrance that they had at RWA, we had
Yeah,
all the
Legacy,
kids and
yeah.
everything. I produced all that for them just so
Wow.
they have something really big and whatever. We did that for Holiday. Excuse me. We did that for Holiday at one of the XWA shows. We had the big entrance, we had the girls on stage, and they were like, he
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
for the resolution, the ladder match.
yeah. So he came up on stage, goes over to the girls in the corner. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing,
Yeah.
just to add more to it. Just to kind of spice it up. We did the thing with Vinny Marsalia when he was doing his thing with the Halloween, like the spooky gimmick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing. I like doing that fun, different type of stuff. I might just realize I'm off camera. I enjoy doing that type of stuff because I think it's fun to see and interact.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't sit there and take the time to go, what can I do? Because if you don't get them the second you walk out that curtain, your job is that much harder.
Mm.
It's that much harder. I'll say it all the time. Ariel's a good, whether she's babyface or heel, she's a good person to watch because as soon as you get out there, you either dislike her or you love her.
Yeah.
But she does it the second she walks out the curtain. And if she doesn't get a reaction, the second she walks out, I guarantee before she takes 3 or 4 steps, she's getting a reaction of some sort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't take the time. A lot of people just kind of go, "Oh, I got to slap everybody's hands," or everybody gonna go, "Oh, let's go." No,
Yeah.
no, you just have to be smart about it. You have to just listen to them and understand what they're looking for.
Well, like I say, you're an absolute legend. Now, I know sometimes you don't like to admit it, but when we talk New England, 2018 for you, what was it like getting inducted in New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame? All your hard work. I know people are iffy about Hall of Fames, but in New England, pretty prestige around here.
So Joe Bruin brought that out, and I was one of those, and I won't lie, I was one of those guys who's like,
Yeah.
But at the same token, it was cool to be at least recognized in that aspect of it, and the fact that he took it on and went further with it, which made it feel that much more.
Yeah.
So like I said in the beginning, it was cool to get, and a lot of guys were kind of like about it.
Yeah.
But again, as the time went on, he kept doing it more. It added that little prestige to it. It was actually a cool little feature. Be said, every once in a while they'll announce me out as New England Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
Like your dad. Your
Yeah.
dad gets it. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to have that acknowledgement.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Was giving back something you always wanted to do in pro wrestling?
I think it's what you're supposed to do, or what you should do. Not just in pro wrestling, just in anything you do, really.
Yeah.
I mean, in your work, if you're working at a place for so long and you're that good at something you do, and somebody gets hired that doesn't know anything, you should wanna help them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like that at work as when I do training and mentoring at work. I just feel that's what somebody do. But in wrestling, it's and I tell people, especially new guys, I tell people, listen, I'm nobody of any craziness. Like I said, I've had my fun in New England, but I never made it to the dance. I never did. I garnered a little reputation, yes, but nothing. Oh my God, I wasn't out there making the big paychecks and whatnot. I wasn't being flown around across the country. You know what I'm saying? Wrestling for me was different. It's a lot easier. I don't want to say easier, but it's a lot easier nowadays to get seen more.
Yeah.
But I have a good eye. I know what I like, and I think I know what, not necessarily what I would like to see, but I think I can pull something out of you that maybe you don't even realize you can probably see. I think I'm a good character when it comes to that, and I think a lot of people know that and tend to want to come to me and ask me for advice.
Yeah.
And if I don't have advice, I'll send them to people that do. You know what I'm saying? I try to tell guys all the time. I say, listen, if you're on a show with me, pick my brain. You want me to check your match? You want me to help you match? I'm here for it.
Yeah.
If not, go to somebody that's there does better than you, that knows more than you, that is bigger than you, and ask them. Because the guy coming in that's under you, that's been wrestling 2 weeks, or the guy that's been wrestling 3, 4, 5 years, I'm gonna go to the guy that's going to wrestle 3 or 5 years to get his information.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you take that and you do what you want with it at that point.
Yeah.
But at some point, yeah, I feel you should give back. If anything, it's gonna keep you from especially if it's gonna keep someone from getting hurt.
Yeah.
Nowadays everyone wants to do 600 high spots
Oh
in
yeah.
a match, and I'm a firm believer, and I've said it. You'll hear guys. I'll say this to people all the time. Less is more.
Mm-hmm.
Know where you are on the show. Less is more. You can do just as much with a wrist lock than you can with a body slam or power slam. You know what I'm saying? It's just you just got to be smart with what you want to do and tell the story. You know, and the question is, what story are you trying to tell?
Mm-hmm.
Your longevity. I've wrestled as long as I am because I didn't do crazy stuff. I only did crazy when I needed to be crazy.
Yeah.
But if you do crazy every match, sooner or later that crazy is going to catch up to you. And at that point, then what do you got left to give? If you give everything in that match that night, what do you give them next time? Dynamite? I don't get it.
Yeah. Ariel mentioned when I interviewed her that you said it all the time, less is more. You've talked about producing a lot of matches, but what was it about the connection with Ariel and BMT that you've had? And did you have an impact in bringing them back out of wrestling?
Ariel's a sweetheart. Ariel is Ariel is a how do I put it, man? I've known Ariel since she was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I trained her along with Brickhouse. I've known BMT from wrestling when just before they met. He was young, just coming into it.
Yeah.
I regard them as my family.
Yeah.
I am their godfather to the youngest.
Nice.
But with Ariel, like I said, I've known her for so long, and I've seen her in and out of the ring, personally and professionally. So having the two together is it's a fun mix. A lot of people don't realize that BMT is super smart for this business,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
more than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
And like his mind for matches that have happened before is just mind-boggling to me. To the point it's nauseating. The stuff that he knows.
Yeah.
But he'll always take my criticism and comments like gold. And if he doesn't like it, he'll tell me, oh, I don't know if I like that, but he respects my thought process, and for the most part, he understands that I'm only trying to make it better for him. Sometimes you need to have a person to kind of bring you down. It's like, oh, I got this, and this, and this. Like, oh, you really don't need this and this if you got to wrestle this guy 3 more times in the next 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's slow down.
Yeah.
Like, slow it down a little bit. And with Ariel's more of she just likes to make sure that it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's her thing. She just likes to make sure it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny that they were just saying, he's like, I think we just have to take Jose on the road with us all the time, and he could just be the road agent all the time, because they joke with me saying I'm their agent.
Yeah.
I'm always funny because like they'll be at shows when I'm not at shows. They'll be at shows and like Anna will text me and like, hey, what do you think? He wants to do this. Like, what do you think? I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the bath right now.
Yeah.
Like, but it happens. I'm always available if anybody wants to ask me this question.
Yeah.
But I've grown to love them immensely.
Nice.
So it's family, man. It's family. There are certain people that you gravitate to, again, like Brickhouse. Brickhouse is family. You gravitate to them, and then they stick with you through thick and thin, and that's what you get at the end.
I'm curious, going into 2026, is there anything you want to do? I know you're involved with XWA, Fight Life, now wrestling with character. Is there anything else you want to do, or you just want to keep giving back?
I want to be a millionaire.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Now listen, I'm super content where I'm at, man.
Nice.
Like I mentioned before, I have a grandkid now that I'm over the moon for.
Nice.
Myself and my wife, that's what we're living for right now, is my grandkid. I enjoy wrestling. My wife hates wrestling. She hates to go to shows.
Wow.
I try not to bring her to shows. She went to this particular show this weekend because Mercedes Martinez was on the show. We haven't seen her in a while. It was great to catch up with her because she was working with Ariel.
Yeah.
So that's why I went. I ended up getting in touch with Kurt Adonis, the owner of a wrestling character, and I was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna be down. If you can use me for anything, man, I'm here to help. Set up chairs, whatever the case may be. And he was like, oh, I got a lot of guys there, and you can help with the battle. I'm like, no, do whatever you need, man. I just if I'm gonna come in and you're gonna allow me to come in and not worry about paying, I want to do. I can't. Plus, I can't sit still.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Plus, I know Anna and Tommaso on the show anyway, so I know they're gonna be asking me questions. So I'll be backstage. So I end up being like basically the stage manager basically,
Nice.
and helping them put the show in pace to what they have, because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
In fact, he just took me a little while ago. He's like, I really appreciate your day. You made the show run so smooth, especially this particular show because they had so much riding on it.
Mm.
Like they had so many moving parts. Him and the co-owner Nick
Barberi. Nick Barberi, another legend.
Yeah. So it was they both were very appreciative that I was there to give them a hand to get things, and it was cool because a lot of the all the wrestlers were very receptive of me helping put them in order where they need to go. So I just enjoy doing that. I just don't do it as often because I hate driving.
Yeah,
I just hate driving.
Yeah.
I do Fight Life because Fight Life is close to home to me with Frankie. I do XWA because it's history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I show up at RWA once in a while. T Phoenix allows me to help out where and if I can. If it doesn't need, I don't do nothing. But I'll go hang out sometimes with the guys, and usually somebody's always pulling me aside, asking me for help. But I'm always accessible for help. I enjoy doing it.
Nice.
I enjoy being part of it and helping out in any kind of way. I just like seeing it materially, and especially when you have somebody that's just putting on a show and they're trying so hard to make it work, and at the end they just have that look in their eye like, wow, I actually did, like it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling to actually watch that and see that all come to life.
Nice. Well, Jose Perez, I can't thank you enough for doing this. However, every interview of Best for Business has ended the same. The day you decide it's all done in wrestling, which, as you said, wrestling retirements, they don't really exist. But the day you decide it's all done in pro wrestling, what do you want your legacy in pro wrestling to be?
My legacy?
Yeah.
That's a good question. So I feel legacy is you had to have accomplished a huge amount of stuff. And again, I feel like I never really accomplished a lot in this business. Some people tell me otherwise.
Oh yeah.
And some people have told me how like I remember seeing you at the PAL and like they're out wrestling now. And I think for that would be just that I really love this business. Whether you thought I was good at it or not, or whether you thought I was an asshole or whatever. In the scheme of things, I just really love and enjoy this business and appreciate the fact for all the wrestlers and promoters and people that actually give me the opportunity to be able to do podcasts like this.
Yeah.
And want to hear me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So that'd probably be it, that just to know that I love it as much as they do.
Nice. Well, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for everything you've done for me since I was like 12, and now we're 20 doing this. So thank you so much for everything.
Man, you do you, man. You're doing a lot of good stuff, man.
Thank you.
The only piece of advice I'll give you is don't rush the process.
Okay.
Don't rush the process. Don't push it. It will come.
Yeah.
It may not come today. It may not come next week, but the process will come. If you are meant to be, your process will show.
Thank you.
Just keep doing your stuff.
And after you said that tidbit with Holliday, I'm going to start testing you, see if every time I see you at a show, you can give me some pieces of advice after that. But seriously, thank you so much for doing this, and thank you everybody for watching this episode. This was Best for Business.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best for Business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, because this is Best for Business.